From inside the Washington 20. Herbert again back to the air. Dangerous pass and it's picked. William chasing.
Stick with it. It's Curtis Samuel. Oh, beautiful move by Samuel. Working the sideline, and Samuel won't go down.
What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio back with the latest and greatest on the Ramblin' with Rio YouTube channel. Rio Robinson, you know the vibes. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let a friend know. Tell a friend to tell a friend. For all Washington Commanders information, you want to be subscribed to this page. Today, we're talking top 5 players who must perform for the Commanders in 2022. A couple honorable mentions, but the 5 players I think it is most critical for them to perform for us to see success in 2022. But we're going to get to that in just a second. Play the music. On y'all, it's June 13th, Monday, a day before mandatory minicamp begins, and per usual, the circus is in town. Like my boy Jalen said, the circus is in town per usual with the Washington Commanders. We just can't stay out of headlines, and it's usually not good ones, but we got the Terry contract fiasco, the Del Rio situation, which has been nipped in the bud. Ron fined him $100K. For those who think that was not enough, that's about a fourth of his contract. A fourth of his salary. So that's a pretty hefty fine. And he deleted his Twitter. So I hope we never have to talk about a Jack Del Rio tweet on this channel again, because I don't like talking politics and I don't feel like talking about all this. And everybody who had a problem with what I had to say on my last video, I'm sorry, but I don't care. I say what I want on my channel. And like y'all said, it's freedom of speech, but you cannot walk into your job and say anything you want with no reprimand or repercussions. But moving on, let's talk football. Terry won't be showing up to mandatory minicamp tomorrow. He'll be going back to Florida to, train, which means go catch more fish, because we know Terry's in shape. Terry don't need to catch passes. Terry good. We know Terry's going to come ready as soon as that deal's on the table. But today's video is not about Terry, but Washington Commanders, Ron, company. If y'all hear me, pay the man his damn money. Pay him his money. Let's not do the Kirk Cousins franchise tag cha-cha-cha, like Al Galdi would say, with Terry McLaurin. The guy's earned his money. I like Jahan Dotson, and I like some of the young potential we have at the position. But let's call it what it is, man. Terry's the guy. Terry's one of the faces of the rebrand. Pay him his money and let's move on. But today, we're talking top 5 players on this Commanders roster who have to perform this year for this team to be successful. And let me know in the comments who your 5 players is and what order you would put them in, because we're not always going to agree. That's the beauty of opinions. We're not always going to agree. Let's talk about it. Let me know who y'all top 5 players who must produce is. Let's start with my honorable mentions. I got 3 of them. Surprisingly to a lot of people, because people are going to say, oh, but he ran 4,000 yards. Honorable mention number 1, Antonio Gibson. Yes, he did run 4,000 yards. Yes, he did some positive things, but I think Antonio Gibson needs to break out this year. I don't consider last year a breakout year for him. He led the league in fumbles, guys. He led the league in fumbles, and his fumbles came at terrible times. He lost us the Chargers game. Let's call it what it is. But he's not one of my top 5, though, on the list, though. but he leaves a lot to be desired. His vision needs work, but I like Antonio Gibson and that two-headed monster of him and Brian Robinson, with J.D. McKissick being the ultimate Swiss Army knife behind them. I think that's going to be a really good running back room. They got to stay healthy. Honorable mention number 2, a lot of people will probably put him as one of the players that they expect and we need to produce in year 2, De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown had, 12 catches for 165 in his rookie season? It's not going to cut it, big guy. And before you jump out there and say it was all Heineke, it was not all Heineke, guys. I've said it in multiple videos. De'Ami Brown didn't know the offense 6-8 weeks through the season. Yes, he's a rookie. Yes, he's a third-round pick. I know Terry was a third-round pick, and I know all third-round picks are not created equal, but he wasn't good in his rookie year, bro. He had a bad rookie season. That's why he's busting this. He came back diesel. He's swole as hell now. We saw him at camp. My man built like Anquan Bolden now. De'Ami's been in the lab. He's been working with Hakeem Nicks. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, The De'Ami Show, he's doing work over there. He's doing work, and I expect to see a much better De'Ami Brown. Especially, it should be motivation to him that we drafted a receiver in the first round a year after taking him in the third. I want to see competition. I want to see a true vertical threat on this roster. He's been working on his short area quickness and route running, but we need him to be able to take the top off defenses because we have a quarterback now that can actually hit him in stride and not get him set up to die like Ford was last year. You know we take a Heineke shot every episode, bro. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. And my honorable mention number 3, Bobby McCain. I know what the common retort's going to be. Bobby McCain had 4 interceptions. He had a career high of interceptions versus us last year. Let's look at it in context, though. Bobby McCain was getting burnt and having receivers run past him for a majority of the season last year. But he ended the season strong, and he ended the year versus Jake from State Farm of the New York Giants with a pick 6 and a pick versus the Giants. He had 2 picks versus the Giants. That did a whole bunch. That's almost like garbage time stats. Like, yes, the stats happen, but it's kind of like how Brian Arakpo, how he wouldn't have sacks for like most of the year, and he pulls up with like this 4.5 sack game or 3.5 sack game, and his numbers look like, oh my God, he had a great season. He didn't, though. Like, context matters. Don't let these PFF pie chart bullshit analytics get you twisted. Bobby McCain needs to be better. He got a rookie staring him down now, Percy Butler, who's trying to get on the field. Derek Forrest, I'm not sure which safety position he's going to be playing. I think he's going to be playing the strong and Cam at the Buffalo nickel, but we have a little bit of a crowded safety room. We brought back Bobby. Bobby, we need better from you in 2022, but let's start the list. My top 5 players who need to perform at a very, 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 I won't say elite, but they need to perform on a more than adequate level for this team to be successful in 2022. Number 5, WJ3, William Jackson III. We gave him a contract, paying him just under $14 million a year. I will not put all of his shortcomings on just him, though. The team has to do better of this. For as long as I've been a fan of this Washington organization, we always, no matter who the regime is, we always do this thing where we sign and acquire players that do a specific thing well, and then we don't put them in position to do that thing well. And that's why coaching definitely plays a part into some of the shortcomings of these players, but ultimately the players still need to produce. You know, like when we acquired Josh Norman, who was a zone cover 3 corner, and then we brought him here and said, go follow receivers and play man. Why? Why do we do this? So William Jackson, who's one of the better man-to-man corners in the NFL, we bring him here and say we're going to play loose as zone. Del Rio, do better, bro. Like, I don't want to hear what you feel about. I don't want to hear your political ideologies when you can't put players in the correct position to succeed, my guy. I want to see the defense thrive. And William Jackson III was not in a position to thrive last year, but he also didn't play great. He didn't perform well. You know, he wasn't terrible. Don't get me wrong, but when you see the price tag of $13.5 million a year for a guy, you're like, bro, we need to see some legit production out of you. Like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it feels like we don't have a solidified cornerback one on the roster. And that's why guys like Sauce and Stingley, they stood out to a lot of people as a need for us because we don't have a bona fide, solidified cornerback one with William Jackson on one side, Kendall Fuller on the other side, who's getting older and a little bit less athletic. That's why we can't put him in the slot as much anymore. And we got the young boy in year 2, BSJ, St. Juice, who's going to be interchangeable in the inside and on the outside. We don't have a solidified cornerback one. For the money you're being paid, William Jackson III, you got your number 3. You're wearing a single digit now. It's time to ball out. I need baller, single-digit production out of you in 2022. Number 4, second-year player. I'm pretty sure y'all know where this is going. Last year's first-round pick, number 19, Jamin Davis. Same defense. There's a good amount of it on coaching. We put a guy who was raw and only started his 1 year in Kentucky because a catastrophic health situation to the starting linebacker. The guy was raw, and we just told him, you're a Mike linebacker, when he really is a weak side linebacker. And we had him out of place. And for a good majority of the season, I remember me and Jalen being at the stadium last year like, bro, they take Jamin out on third down all the time. Like, our first-round backer that's supposed to be calling the shots and head honcho of the defense can't play on third downs? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I see bad eyes. I don't see instinct. I didn't see good instincts from him. But mind you, linebacker is not an easy position to transition from college to the NFL, especially when you were a 1-year starter. We drafted him for traits, tools. He lit it up in his combine, and you can just tell watching him play that there was too much going on in his head. He was thinking more than letting his instincts take over. And for that reason, he was never able to really play to his speed. Like, we're talking like a 4-4 linebacker who moves around great. We didn't see any of that until later in the season. We started to see him hit gaps and come uphill faster, get some stops on third and fourth and shorts. Like, he started to get comfortable more so towards the end of the year. But having him playing out of position and giving him so much responsibility, it definitely looked like it took a toll on his production for a good majority of the season. And we need to see a new and improved Jamin Davis in 2022 in his primary, natural, innate spot of will linebacker, while Cole Holcomb takes over the Mike spot. I know everybody still wants us to go sign Alexander Johnson and Anthony Barr, which probably is on the table, but they got to take care of Terry before they do anything else. So I don't even know if those are options for us right now. You know, around camp time, players get cut that aren't supposed to. But Jamin, my guy, I believe in you. I'm not going to call you a bust after year 1. I'm not that guy. I am not that guy. But I want to see better for you because I want to see better for this defense. Jack, you got 4 first-rounders on the front line. You got a linebacker that you took in the first round last year. Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio. You guys were linebackers, bro. Why can we not hit on the linebacker? Get the linebackers right, bro. Get the linebackers right this year. I want to see Holcomb and Davis absolutely flying around and creating havoc because their job shouldn't even be that hard behind those monsters that we have on the front line. And we're going to be getting to one of those monsters in just a second. But Jamin Davis, year 2, I want to see it. I want to see 100 tackles. I want to see that athleticism I saw when you were taking interceptions to the crib back at Kentucky. I want to see you jumping routes. I want to see you in coverage with running backs and not out of place. You were looking lost a lot of last year, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You were a rookie, and you had a whole lot of responsibilities and things going through your head, and you could tell because the eyes and the instincts were very, very slow. Year 2, Jamin Davis. I need it, bro. I need production. Number 3 on the list, someone I just met last week. We were at OTAs. We're not going to call him Sidefield Samuel anymore. We're just going to call him Curtis. Number 10. Is he going to break the curse of the number 10? That number 10 has went through some hell here, bro. It seems like it's absolutely cursed, man, going back from Gandy Golden to Paul Richardson to RG3 to Jabbar Gaffney. That number 10 is John Hall, if you will. That number 10 has went through some hell here. Curtis Samuel, we gave him a 3-year, $33 million deal, making about $11.5 a year. And last year, he made his $11.5 million riding the stationary bike on the side field at Ashburn. He told me and my boy he's going to turn shit up in 2022. And Lord knows our offense needs it, man. Our offense was very predictable last year. J.D. McKissick was like the only versatile, interchangeable piece in the offense last year. And the plan to stop us was pretty much neutralize Terry McLaurin and stop the run game or stop J.D. McKissick. Like, we need Curtis Samuel's skill set. For those of you who don't know, Curtis Samuel was Debo before Debo. Maybe not on the same scale production-wise, but his position, that wide receiver move player, pretty much like an athlete in college, that you move from the inside to the outside to the backfield. You're running jet sweeps, you're running bubbles, you're running bunch formation. Like, there's so many different things you can do with Curtis Samuel. And you're being paid like a top of the line wide receiver too. We need you on the field, my guy. Carson needs his weapons at full disposal for this offense to get booming. Like Scott Turner, I seen what you was doing in OTAs. I ain't going to put too much out there, but it excites me, bro. Some of the stuff I seen us running, it gave me 2012 RG3 vibes, except we got a quarterback that can run that shit. But we need Curtis Samuel off the side field and on the actual field. I need his cleats on FedEx Field grass in a Commander's uniform, cutting shit up on Sundays, because a starting receiving core of Terry and Dotson and Curtis Samuel, that's the best we've had since the Garcon, Jackson, Crowder days, man. That is an explosive offense. Carson will have multiple weapons. Like, just, we need that. Come on now. Logan Thomas, Cole Turner, John Bates at tight end, running back room of Robinson, Gibson, and McKissick, wide receiver room of Terry, Curtis, Dotson, Diami, Cam Sims. Like, there is no excuse. This offense should be limitless this year, and Curtis Samuel plays a huge and integral part of the offense exploding in 2022. I need to see that Curtis Samuel that came to FedEx Field as a Panther in 2020 and gave us the absolute fucking work. He was killing us on reverses, screens. He had almost 200 yards of offense that day. I need to see that guy. I want to see the number 10 curse broken. So coming in at number 3, Curtis Samuel. Number 2 and number 1 are very, very obvious. The order I put them in, I definitely struggled to decide like which one was more important to our success. But ultimately, you know what position is the most important in all of sports. So we'll get to number 1 in a second. You know what? Let's call number 1 1A and 1B. There's no number 2 here. 1B is Chase Young, 99, the Predator. Chase, my guy. We love you, my guy. 99, face of the franchise, generational talent. We need to stop. We need to pour one out and let that word generational go. But that's what we drafted you to be, my guy. We drafted you to pretty much give us the impact of a quarterback on our defense. We have big dreams for Chase Young. We look at guys like the Bosa brothers, the Watt brothers, Khalil Mack, the Chandler Joneses of the world. That's what I dream of for Chase Young. I dream of a player that he looks like a video game character, bro. He's built like a freaking Marvel Avenger. We want this guy to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. We want this guy to be making game-changing plays regularly. Like the one he made last year versus the Broncos that gave us a chance to actually win the game when he stripped Melvin Gordon when they were just trying to kill the clock. The chase that we saw versus San Francisco his rookie year, wreaking havoc, crushing quarterbacks, picking up fumbles, and trotting like a gazelle down the sideline into the end zone. Chase, we need you to be a superstar, my guy. It seems for the first time in his whole football life, he's been faced with adversity with this injury. Because this injury came when he was finally Stella finally got her groove back. He was finally getting consistent pressure. And he was turning shit up versus Tampa, and he tore his ACL. I was there. Whole stadium got quiet, gave me 2012 Seahawks playoff vibes. It was terrible. You never want to see players get hurt, especially the guy, Chase Young. Last year, we got on him because he was missing off-season team activities, voluntary, to shoot eBay commercials that no one's seen. We need you, like, Chase looks like a superstar. He moves off field like a superstar. It all checks the boxes, but the production last year was not it. And it's not just the sack number. Year 2 of a generational talent edge rusher, you should have more in your pass rush bag. The pass rush versatility lacks tremendously, and he's kind of just like running past quarterbacks and trying to outrun tackles every play. And there's no handwork. Like, get back with Coach J at Ohio State. Work with Charles Mann. He offered. Hit up Bruce Smith. Shit, go back and work with them big corn-fed Bosa brothers during the summertime. Come back with a pass rush bag because we need Chase to be dominant, bro. We don't need him to be okay. I don't want him to be Aaron Maben, Jadeveon Clowney. My boy jokes and calls him Blonde Clowney. My boy Marshall. I don't want that for us, bro. Clowney's okay. We didn't draft Chase Young with the second pick of the 2020 draft to be okay. We drafted him to be dominant. We drafted him to be a guy that could get 12 to 20 sacks, a guy that could just absolutely change games. And yes, there are ways to change games without number production. I know it, but why are these guys all producing better than him? Why is Azeez Ojulari outproducing Chase Young? I need to see it, man. I need to see it this year. Year 3, take your time with your recovery. Do not force yourself on the field week 1 if you're not ready. We don't need to see a sequel of All In for week 1. Please don't do that shit. Make sure you are 100% healthy. I want to see a leader out of Chase Young. There were early moments in the season where his body language lacked. He looked like he was out of shape the first couple of weeks. I remember the Chargers game. My boy shoot me a text at the stadium and was like, yo, Chase is coming off the field a lot. He's gassed, bro. You see him. He was hitting up the water. He was hitting up the Gatorade tank a bunch of times early in the season last year. I understand it was hot as shit at that game. I was about to catch a heat stroke from the stands. But Chase, I need you to get your mind right, your body right, rehab and recover. And I need at minimum double-digit sacks, a couple forced fumble. I need to see game-changing rookie year Chase roided up. I need to see, not really, not literally. Don't take roids, bro. Just hit the room. You're already built like Thor. Like, you don't need to take that. But I need to see an explosion, man. I need to see that Nick Bosa, TJ Watt. I need to see it, bro. It is not hating to want better for our players. Chase, if you've ever met Chase's family, his mother, his father, his sister at the games, they're hard as shit on him. So we have to be hard on him too. They know he's better than that. Chase knows he's better than that. And 1.5 sacks through 9 weeks is fucking unacceptable for our generational talent, edge rusher, quarterback of the defense. So number 1B was Chase Young, which leaves us to number 1. I'm pretty sure everybody could have guessed this shit. The quarterback position, the one position we have not solved in my lifetime as a fan here. Since Snyder bought the team, we've had about 41 starting quarterbacks, and the list continues. Carson Wentz, Commander Carson, Prince Harry himself, number 1 on my list. What more do I need to say, Carson? You have to produce. You have no excuse. You have no excuse. You have a run game. You have a formidable offensive line. You have weapons, as long as they're healthy, knock on wood. The defense should be humming. There's no reason for this defense not to be top 12 in the league. The offense has what it needs. I've seen Scott Turner's offense scheme players open, and we didn't have the quarterback that can make all the throws or process fast enough to get them there. Carson Wentz, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and what some would call an off-ish year last year in Indianapolis. Change the narrative, Carson. Like his story arc aligns with the story arc of this franchise. We're both trying to change the narrative and be taken seriously and gain some respect and reverence on our name. Carson, go out and ball. Carson, we haven't seen a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns in my lifetime. I've seen 29. I see Kirk 100 yards away from 5,000. Sonny Jurgensen was the last quarterback to throw for 30 touchdowns. And that was like prehistoric football ages, leather helmets type shit. I've never seen it. Carson, go out and earn your extension, bro. Go out and win games. Go out week 1 and light the Jaguars up, because all we heard all offseason was you choked versus the Jaguars when it was literally a team choke job. Carson, we need production. I don't ever need to see you attempt a left-handed pass on this team. He threw a couple left-handed picks. He threw some of the worst interceptions I've seen last year, but don't get it twisted. He's not a turnover machine. He averages about 7 picks a season. He doesn't throw. He's had 1 bad season with interceptions. Don't count his rookie year, because you know all rookies, they throw picks. That's what they do. But Carson, you are the number 1 cog in this machine that keeps things rolling for us in 2022. If you ball out, this is a 10-plus win team and a playoff team. I need your mental right. I don't need you looking over your shoulder, which you won't need to with Taylor Heineke and a 5th-round rookie behind you. We're going to let Sam Howell cook, and we'll let him bake, and we're going to let him develop at a slow pace. The job is yours. Like Ron said, you are wanted here, my guy. You have a better receiver. You're not throwing to Greg Ward, my guy. You're not throwing to Zach Pascal. You have weapons here. You don't have to be Superman. Like Pat McAfee likes to say, Carson has to learn to live to the next down. Every down is not 4th and 20, Carson. Throw the ball away. Let people sack you sometime. You do not. I love the gamesmanship. I love the gamer in him, that he wants every play to be a fucking touchdown or a first down. Learn to live for the next play, Carson. Let the play die and keep it pushing. I don't question his mental. I don't question his leadership like a lot of people say, because as far as I've seen, teammates come in droves to defend the guy. But we need production. We need 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and we need a quarterback to believe in DC. I want to come out of this year saying, oh, we're inking him to an extension. This is the guy here for the foreseeable future. Like, he's our dream as far as traits. 6'5", 238-pound rocket arm quarterback. He's how you draw up a quarterback in your mind when you create one on Madden. He's mobile. Carson, please, if you produce, the whole team will respond, and we will be a fucking problem in the NFC East and in the NFC. And you can mark us down for a ticket to the dance, meaning the playoffs, if Carson Wentz produces. But that's my top 5 players who need to produce for the Washington Commanders in 2022. We'll count them down one more time. William Jackson, Jamin Davis, Curtis Samuel, Chase Young, and Commander Carson Wentz. That's all I've got for right now. Let me know in the comments who your top 5 players who need to produce for the team to be successful in 2022. Thank you for following. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not subbed, click the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I'm about 87 subscribers away from 4,000. Let's build this channel up. I'm trying to get to 5K before the season starts. That would be beautiful because we really going to turn up once the season starts. Vlogs from the stadium, game day live streams, weekly previews of each matchup with content creators and media from the other team. We're turning up once the season starts, so come along for the journey. It's all good vibes over here. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Take command. Deuces.